Hey yo guys, welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our first impressions of Omni by Angra. So yo, Angra, a band that I only recently just heard of because you said, hey, Angra's got a new album coming out and I dig their shit.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay, let me check out some of their shit and see if I dig it too. So I did. I listened to whatever their latest album, a couple of years ago.
I forgot what it was.
I don't remember what it was called. And you know what, I listened to it about once the whole way through and was just like, whatever. The singing was what was putting me off the most. I wasn't feeling it. But I like to think I'm an open-minded person, so I have no problem giving it a full-fledged chance. And I'm actually looking forward to listening to it for the first time in its entirety, which we're gonna go do in a minute. But what are your thoughts going into this real quick before we go listen to it?
I like this band. I haven't listened to them in a while, but you know, years ago when I was getting more and more into progressive metal, I found these guys and I listened to Rebirth, which is a really cool album. I heard Judgment Day, I'm like, holy fuck, this song's crazy. So then I listened to, I think Aqua was the most recent one at the time, and I thought it was okay. It didn't really stand out to me. Then I listened, when I looked and saw, holy, geez, Angra's coming out with a new album. We both listened to the most recent one together. I was loving it. I'm like, fuck, this is good. Like, I'm hyped for this. So I'm really hyped for this release. But yeah, it's been a while since I've really listened to these guys a lot. So I'm excited to see what they have in store with Omni.
All right, so let's go give it a shot. And we'll be back and let you guys know our first impressions in just a minute. All right, guys, we're back. We just listened to Omni by Angra in its entirety from front to end. I'm gonna take the floor here and tell you guys my first impressions. So basically, this album starts off, track one kicks in, Light of the Transcendence, and I'm feeling good. Off to a good start. It's this power metal vibe. It's got a lot going on. The singing is a little off-putting. I'm not a huge fan of these clean vocals, but it's something I can deal with. You got, this awesome build up to the guitar solo, awesome dueling guitar solo happens. Just really great intro track. Song 2 comes on, Travelers of Time. Again, they're keeping the pace, they got the energy going. I'm into it, it's good. They have this cool gallop groove going, but it's not the typical gallop you'd hear. They got this kind of uniqueness to it, which I was finding really cool. Shredding solo again, plus, really digging it. Song 3 comes on, Black Widow's Web. Starts off kind of with this female voice you hear telling like a story about a Black Widow spider, and then the song kicks in and you're hearing a harsh female vocal, which was actually Alyssa White-Glue's, which you called it. We looked it up.
I heard it. I'm like, yo, is that Alyssa White-Glue's? We looked it up and it was her. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, and he's fucking tuning his own horn like he's God now. But anyways, awesome song still. And then it happened. It happened. So song 4 comes on in Insania. Song 4 comes on and it brings it down to this level. We're like, okay, we've been noticing kind of a trend lately with albums we've been listening to. We're kind of track 4 or 5-ish. The albums always drop and there's like kind of a cool down song. All right, I can forgive that. We'll put up with this, not so bad. Then track 5 comes on, still same level. 6, 7, 8, the rest of the album was a complete and utter vibe killer, with the exception of a few small parts, maybe in certain songs. There was one song, which one was it? I don't know, I think song 6, War Horns, had a pretty cool like kind of breakdown part, but it only lasted for like 1 bar, maybe 2 bars. And I'm like, that's it, like that, I'm finally like, yes, that's finally something I can get into, but that's it. Most of the songs were in a major scale. Not a huge fan of major scale music, I much prefer the minor scale. It just was a wreck to me, and I mean, I'm gonna listen to this all week and hopefully my opinion changes. Hopefully this grows on me and I can find stuff to appreciate and like about it. But the first 3 tracks, good. The rest of the album was a fucking flop, but have at it, go ahead.
I generally feel similar to you about the album. The first 3 tracks, holy shit, had me at the edge of my seat. I'm like, fuck, this is sick, this syncopated rhythm, that Alyssa White-Glue's, holy shit, I didn't even know they got her for this album, like, what? I was first put off by the fact it was a harsh vocal. I'm like, they've never done that before. And then I listened to it, I'm like, that's Alyssa Whiteley's voice. We looked it up and I was right.
Yep.
And Insania, you know, as you said, like it's typical for albums to bring it down a little bit. You always want that roller coaster of emotions going on. One of the biggest issues was the bottom of my soul, and that was maybe the bottom of this album, if you want to say, because that, in my opinion, was a huge mistake. Because you already had Insania bringing it down. It still had some energy with it. It was still, you know, upbeat, but it was a lot more chill than the first 3 tracks. So why put a ballad right after that? That means you have 9 minutes of cooldown. So I said, okay, you can have that as long as the next tracks push it up to 11.
Yeah.
Which...
But did they?
They didn't, but I was not as upset as you are.
Okay.
I thought Warhorns had some neat stuff in there. It wasn't crazy for me.
It sounded like a 90s TV series theme music. That's what I got.
I didn't hear that. You did. I did not. Caveman I thought was sick. It was proggy and it had so much Latin influence, and I loved that. I love Latin stuff in music, and I thought it was really cool they incorporated it.
I want to mention one thing about Warhorns. I think Warhorns, I might like that song a lot more if I listen to it again, but I think tracks 3 and 4, or 4 and 5, sorry, just killed my vibe too much to the point where Warhorns just felt like I was just like...
Yeah, it really kind of pounded you down a little bit too much.
Yeah, like it was hard to pick back up after that. So I think Warhorns I might have been a little too hard on it on my notes. I only gave it a 3. It's probably worth more like a 5 or a 6 if I listen to it again, but I just wanted to add that in there.
My only issue with Caveman though is that like the chorus kind of felt like it was shoved in there. This song sounds like it was just a jam, and they said, "Yo, this sounds cool. Let's make this a track." And then they're like, "Okay, we gotta write a chorus for it then. Okay, do that."
They got the tribal kind of percussion in there too.
Yeah, the Latin
the
stuff
tribal vocals. Yeah, well, it's called Caveman, but you get that vibe.
Yeah,
you get
that kind of
paints a picture, right? And I like that. I like when bands kind of experiment with sounds to paint an image for you.
So you said that after track 5 is when the whole album went to shit, and I disagree because
I think after track 3 the album went to shit.
Track 3, whatever. You get what I mean. After that section.
Yeah.
But I feel like Caveman, Magic Mirror, and Warhorns were all not bad, and they all offered something. But then they already dropped the ball on the ground. Then they dug a hole and dropped the ball even further with Always More, which is another ballad. Why? I don't know. How do you go from here, go down here, then here, and then down here? Like the roller coaster keeps going just down. It's just going down a bunch of stairs.
Yeah, usually on a roller coaster when you're going down, you're having fun though. That's the fun part of a roller coaster. This is not a roller coaster like this. This is like sitting and going up, just waiting for that.
It's like waiting
for the hill.
It's like riding an escalator.
Yeah. If you can have fun riding an escalator, you'll love this album. But you have to have low standards like that, I guess.
And then I thought Silence Inside was pretty, like Omni Silence Inside was pretty good. Had a nice edge to it. I'm like, okay, I'm glad they have this now, but the fact that we had so many lower points really diminishes this song.
Yeah.
And then the last track, Omni Infinite Nothing, was
instrumental.
Just instrumental, a big symphony orchestra, which I felt the song kind of went on for too long.
Sounded like a Disney movie score. Like it really did. It sounded like a track from a Disney movie.
There was a part in that song where it was like this kind of chimes, kind of just magical.
It was whimsical.
Whimsical magic.
I could picture like fucking Mickey Mouse like waving a wand around and magic happening. Like I could just picture something Disney-esque happening while that was going on. So the violin in that I thought was a nice touch. I like violin. I've mentioned that before. There's a few different instruments sprinkled throughout the album. There's some piano here and there. Like we said, there were some tribal drums in Caveman. I like that stuff when there's different things like that, but it didn't save it for me. It didn't save it.
And that track I felt like was too long, like the Infinite Nothing track. I felt like if it was 3 minutes, it would have been a bit better.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm like, okay, it's kind of dragging, and we've already like went down so much with the tone, so it's like, why is it keep falling? But I feel like if you just remove a few tracks from this album, it gets so much better.
You're only gonna have 3 tracks left if you remove all the back ones.
Look. Take out Infinite Nothing,
EP.
Always More, and Bottom of My Soul. I think if you take those 3 out, the album isn't as drastic with how much it goes down. Because if you look at something like Magic Mirror, that was very spacious and it had a lot of like kind of open sounds. And I feel like that's really good for if you want to bring the vibes back down again.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
good
didn't
for
even
breaking it up.
You didn't even need to have those ballads. You could have done it with Magic Mirror, but they went a little bit overkill. So that's kind of the main gripe I'm having with this album, is that there's just too much contrast to the energy. The energy is great when it's there. When they have it, it's like, oh shit, these guys have it. But then they just jump away from that way too much.
Well, one thing to note is that this is just a first impressions.
Yep.
Just like we do with every album, we treat them all the same. We're gonna listen to this as much as we can for the whole week, and hopefully I don't die of boredom, and hopefully these songs grow on me. And you want to know another thing? I've mentioned this before on this channel as well, is that we just spent a whole week listening to Harm's Way. That's it. This is a different. This is a whole different book.
180.
It's not even the. Yeah, it's a completely different thing. So when you're used to listening to this pounding, aggressive stuff, and then you switch over to this light sounding,
melodic,
much more melodic, happy sounding vibe, that's quite a drastic change for your ears and your mind to just flip to. So sometimes it takes a couple listens or a few listens in order to get into that right mind frame and that right mood to start appreciating what you're listening to. So that could happen. Hoping that happens. I really want to like it. I never want to not like an album. I want to like what I'm listening to, but time will tell. More listens. That's pretty much it for this video though. So be sure to come back next week when we drop our final review of Omni by Angra. But that's it for this video. So be sure to hit that like button. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think of the album and this band. And we'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
Later.